I don't really know how to answer that question yet, but I do ask this after looking at social media, and as a result, I take a break and deactivate. But then again, taking a break from social media doesn't always work for me. It can feel isolating, and I end up feeling behind with everything that's happening in the world. So instead, I decided to document my life. And no, I'm not talking about sharing moments of your life online for everyone to see, but there are plenty of ways to document things that are just for you. Ways that allow you to look back and track your growth over time. When I landed my first IT job after college, I set a goal for myself to only stay at the job for 6 months. Well, that 6 months turned into nearly 3 years. I've been working here for 3 years. Sorry, my dog's being loud. I would train new employees, and next thing I know, they're celebrating their 1 year at the company. That's when it always hit me, realizing I haven't made the career progress I'd hoped for. Every year, I'd buy a planner without fail, mostly out of habit. Our teachers always made us have one when we were younger, so it just became a part of a routine. But as I've gotten older, I'm not as consistent with it anymore. When I can't cross everything off my to-do list, it just doesn't feel as satisfying. And when I recently watched a video from Ali Abdaal about setting goals, one thing he said really stuck with me. What's more important than having a goal that may sometimes be outside of your control is setting a system.
Forget goals, focus on the system instead.
So now I spend more time using my calendar and a journal I've been using for the past 5 years. And my system is scheduling a non-negotiable meeting with myself during the first week of every month, lasting about 30 minutes to an hour. Starting with my financial goals. Am I keeping up with my retirement contributions to stay aligned with my net worth goal? Then my career goals. Am I actively developing my skills, like leadership skills? Were there any work events that made me feel like I'm progressing in that area? Documenting using a journal allows me to see my little wins. I've realized that when I do this, I don't compare myself to others who recently got a new car, a new house, or only going on expensive vacations. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. Everyone should enjoy their rich life in whatever way feels right for them. But for some, those things aren't a part of their goals, and you shouldn't measure your own value or self-worth by comparing yourself to what others have. So unless your goals consist of outdoing others and having what they have, in that case, you probably won't feel like you're making progress until you reach that point. So going back, this made me reflect on the importance of documenting our own paths. Keeping a journal allows me to focus on my personal growth rather than getting caught up in where others are. Looking back at my own notes and reflections, I realized something deeply meaningful. I'm truly content with how my career has unfolded, and the timing of it all feels just right. One of my favorite things to document is time spent with family and friends. The small, everyday moments, the ones that seem ordinary or even unimportant at the time, often become the most meaningful later in life. But more than that, these moments become a way to keep the stories of those I've lost alive. Through these memories, their presence isn't just something I recall, it's something I can feel. And one day, when time has moved forward, these captured moments will allow others to know them too, to hear their voices, to see their smiles, and understand the impact they had. Documenting and looking back on old memories can also help us shift perspectives on past experiences, Like one year, I flew out to spend some time with my closest friends in San Diego, and one night we decided to go out. I was so caught up in the moment, I didn't notice my surroundings. And just like that, my phone was stolen. At the time, it felt like a complete inconvenience. But if someone were to ask me to describe my perfect day, I would choose that day without hesitation. Because looking back at the videos I took, all I saw were the good moments. After getting my new phone, I did feel exhausted and anxious about it getting lost again and taking more time setting it up, so I just put it aside and spent the rest of the day with my friends. I remember meeting at a park, I napped while they had their own conversation, and later we met up again at the beach, laid out a blanket, and started a bonfire. As the sun set, fireworks unexpectedly lit up the sky, and it was one of the most peaceful, relaxing times I've had. No phone, no distraction, just fully present with my friends, enjoying every moment. If it's not already obvious, my favorite way to document is through filmmaking. Whether it's capturing my travels, activities I love, or even just the ordinary moments of my day-to-day life. Filming transforms these moments into beautiful art that often goes unnoticed. There's something special about capturing raw emotions and unscripted experiences. And over time, documenting my days has evolved from a simple hobby to a source of motivation and joy. It's made life feel more vivid and inspired me to keep seeking new experiences, knowing that each one can be captured and reflected on later in life. Like when I was young, my parents loved taking family photos and filming our vacations. There were times when I wasn't in the mood to be on camera, but my parents always told me you'll appreciate looking back at these when you're older. And of course, they were right. Now, I often find myself watching old videos, and even though some moments feel bittersweet, I'm reminded not only of the challenges I've faced, but also of the good times, the wonderful people around me, and how much I've grown. So going back to my career, I want to add, working at the same job for so long eventually became a routine. The stress of it faded. I found myself truly experiencing what people meant by work-life balance. And when I watch old videos I filmed during this time, the focus wasn't about work. Instead, it's on the places I've traveled, the events I've attended, and the beautiful moments I experienced outside of work. So going back to my question, is it normal to feel behind even with everything you've accomplished? Well, it's actually pretty common. For many of us, it's easy to compare ourselves to others, especially with social media playing such a huge role in our lives. Even when we've accomplished a lot ourselves, seeing others share their achievements can trigger feelings of inadequacy or make us feel like we're not doing enough. Social media often highlights only the best moments, giving a polished view of someone's life that can make it seem like they're ahead. But in reality, everyone's journey is unique, not just in our careers, but in our personal experiences too. When we take the time to capture and reflect these experiences, we begin to understand that the moments that shape us, the challenges we overcome, and the simple joys are what truly matter. Take my trip to San Diego, for example. There was a day when my phone got stolen, and although it felt like an inconvenience at the time, the rest of the day turned out to be one of the most meaningful times I've had with friends. Life experiences like that, and the happiness they bring, can't be measured against someone else's timeline.